there's some amazing Italian photographers, and some of my contemporaries. There's Paolo Pellegrini, Zizola, Maioli. Italy's produced some fantastic photographers, and chapeau, with big respect. Giri was totally different style, and there are others, landscape people like Gabriele Basilico, unfortunately died a couple of years ago, who's doing more kind of city landscape and stuff. Italy has a huge tradition in photography. It isn't that organized, to be honest. It's not on the same level as France. The crisis really hit Italy bad. I was in a privileged situation. I was working directly with papers, not through an agency. I was working with Corriere della Sera, Repubblica, Il Manifesto. Several papers and magazines in Italy directly. That's finished because they used to have a budget for keeping on 3, 4, 5 photographers. Now they only have the budget to go through the agencies. So, and there's not a whole lot of... I was working a lot with Italian institutions as well, provincial governments, the railway network and that kind of stuff. Their finances have been reduced a lot as well. So,
Do you think the big shit's still to hit Italy? Is it coming?
The big shits is about to hit everywhere. I mean, we're at the end of a system here. Yeah. Neoliberalism is a failed system. It's a failed. It's a failed ideology, and the longer we carry on with this system, the harder the shit which hits the fan is going to be. Yeah. And conflicts can arise. I mean, you're already getting a lot of frustrated people in the UK, in France, in Germany, in Italy, and it's you can't compare eras because history does change. But we're getting to a point where the breaking point is getting closer and closer all over.
Yeah, well, you've got the Deutsche Bank thing happening at the moment, which Deutsche Bank are in big trouble, and if they went, God help everybody, really.
Yeah.
Or do you think...
banks, in Italy, you have 700 banks in Italy, so you didn't have these huge ones.
Right.
Yeah. The third largest, Monte Paschi di Siena, third or fourth largest, that went through big shit. But like in the UK, you've got 4 major banks. So when they do go, they really hit, and then you have to nationalise them. Why can't we nationalise them when they're making money?
Absolutely,
sorry.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to watch Greece say we've had enough. But everyone else in Europe said,
Well, I was working in...
backed them up, did they?
Part of my project, this European project, I did around Thessaloniki, and the way I financed that time there was actually to do a reportage for Repubblica. That was back in 2012, and it was already bad. And last year I was back in Greece doing a show and an exhibition in a festival there, and things have got worse. Basically, I mean, if they're trying to apply the same rules to get them out of this shit, they're not going to. The debt is growing, and I think it was Einstein who said madness is repeating the same action when it's obvious that it's failing, and that's what's happening. And it's happening in Greece, which is more extreme, also because there's more corruption, etc. And they had the Olympics, and that was a big fuck up. And but we're all repeating this same experiment, and it's screwed, This system doesn't work. We need to start thinking not about ideology, but about stuff that actually works, and works for the majority.
I mean, it's pointless landing somewhere and looking for, even if you have a distinct idea, unless you've done any preparatory work on it, it's absolutely pointless.
Well, you're going to get the same kind of stuff as everybody else who landed up there. Most places in the world have been travelled to, kind of thing. So, I mean, it's exotic, it's fun, but you're not going to get much special out of it. No. You might be a fantastic photographer, but unless, visually, and doing really visually interesting things. But unless you're putting it in a context, they're going to be individual amazing images. But if you're trying to tell a story, you want to know what the story is before you try telling it, basically.